Okay, I've got a gentleman on the phone who wants to know how I'm indexing crossbow bolts. I guess maybe indexing these ravin bolts. I've got one each here of a 001 tolerance and a 003 thousandths tolerance bolt. This is what I use. Now, you use whatever you want. There's other things out there probably better, but this works for me. I'm not no crossbow match shooter, but for hunting purposes, I think this thing right here will get you where you need to be for sure. It has me, I think. Okay. You can do two things with this. You can check for straightness, okay? You watch the meter. You set your own parameters. I mean, you might want to have a tighter parameter and you may decide to discard a bolt, okay? But you can see I'm rolling that bolt right there. It's real nice, okay? Real nice. Now here's the .001. It may not even check as good as the .003 for straightness. It's not a guarantee, okay? Generally the 001s will be better. Okay, that bolt right there is not checking for straightness as good as this bolt. So that's one thing you can do with this tester here. Okay, now here's the other thing you can do with it. You can push down on this here and put pressure on the bolt. Okay. Now, I'm going to push up on the bottom of this right here. Let me get it down here and get it secured. Now, as you roll this bolt, you're going to see meter deflection. Okay. Now, when I put my finger under this, watch what happens to that meter. See where it goes? Okay, that would indicate the farther clockwise this meter is around, that would be the strongest part of this bolt, spine-wise. So as I roll this around, right in there, looks like the strongest power. Maybe you see that on the camera, okay? Okay, so what you do is when you find the strongest part of this bolt, you take a Sharpie. Okay, whatever position it's in this holder, you take a Sharpie, come straight over the top and you mark it, okay? Let's take this other bolt and put it in there. Now you can put a mark on this thing and be checking these bolts with the same tension. Now you'll see if you'll read the forums, you'll see where some people say to use X pounds on a crossbow bolt for weight, all that stuff. Well, I use this thing here. This is not the most expensive gadget. It's probably not the best, okay? Okay. Now we roll this one around, maybe you can see that meter, okay? Right in there, it looks like about the strongest. Again, you'll put a mark up here. See my mark on there? I got a mark on this bolt because I've done checked it. You see that in the camera there, okay? So now after you do that, you put the mark on there. Remember now, the knock doesn't necessarily have to be in the bolt. Some people would probably say don't have it in there, but you're going to take this knock tool that Raven has, okay, and you're going to line that arrow up as you come around. Okay, you're going to twist the knock and you're going to line it up on your mark you put on the bolt. Okay. Now notice this goes in the Raven bow like this, so the strength of spine would be on the top, okay? Here's your cock vein down here. Now, when you get ready to fletch this bolt, what you'll do, now you're not going to have any veins on this, so just think about this, just like this bolt has no veins. You'll put this device here. This is one of those bits and burgers, okay? This is the actual cock vein position where that R is sitting right there. See, I can rotate this around. Right there's the cock vein position. What you'll do is you'll put your mark up here. See the bolt, I got a vein in the way here, but the bolt will go in like that, and what you're going to do is you're going to flip the bolt 180 degrees. Okay, and right there is where you'll put your first vane on, your cock vane. And then when you get done there, you'll rotate your wheel and then put your 2 hen vanes on. And you can get away using ravin bolts, and you can index them. They'll shoot better than they will from the factory generally, and that's been my experience, okay? So if you're shooting factory ravin bolts, you might think your crossbow shooting good. With one of these right here, and you do what I've done and use these little 2-inch blazer vanes and some of that real good glue that I use, they'll shoot better, especially at distance. You start getting out 60, 80, 100 yards. Now, I've never shot a custom bolt in a crossbow, and I don't know if anybody on the forum has made a comment about this, but if you do get custom bolts, my recommendation, take a Sharpie marker as soon as you get them bolts. Mark the cock vane. If you've got a fletch machine and you want to refletch those bolts, mark the cock vane on every one of those bolts. So you tear fletching off of them, you can refletch your custom bolts. Remember, if you don't have a tester, if you knock 2 vanes off or wherever, you might knock them all 3 off, you ain't going to have a clue what's what, okay? It's not that hard once you get used to it. The biggest thing to remember, though, is you got to turn it. When you put this in here, if you ain't careful, you'll fletch this thing backwards, meaning you'll put the cock vane in here on some, and you might have it on here. It might make a difference, but I always put the strength of spine on top. Now, that's what I read on the internet, and that's what I do. It works for me. Y'all have seen me shoot some groups. I've showed some videos where I've shot some groups testing these bolts, shooting the same bolt and shooting different bolts. Now, like I said, I've never shot a custom bolt. Can a bolt test good on a tester? Even a tester more expensive than this one, meaning for straightness and having it fletch for, or having it match for spine. Does that mean it's going to shoot good? Well, I'd want to shoot it first to see how good it's going to shoot. But I think generally these high quality bolts, though, they're all shooting pretty good if they'll pass, you know, the straightness test and their index and their spine match. And remember, spine match means using the same weight, putting them on there to deflect them. They're deflecting a similar amounts. Now there's a tolerance. They're probably not all equals. Okay, now remember, these guys that are doing these custom bolts, you know, they've got 500 bolts. So they're sitting there and they're testing them and they're grouping them. So when they send you a dozen, they've singled out a dozen probably that's all have the same amount of deflection, okay, in the strength of spine, or maybe the weakness of spine. I don't know how they're doing it. I know what I look for. I look for the strength of spine and put it on the top. Now you're gonna have to get one of these tools right here, and anybody with a ravin bow needs this right here, okay? They should come with the bows. Raven, you see this video, start sending these with these bows to give $2,000, $1,500, $1,200, $3,000 for a crossbow, and it doesn't have this little nickel dime operation right here with it. Is embarrassing, okay? Because you're gonna knock knocks off with your bow. You always get somebody out there that's shooting multiple bolts at a dot, okay? So you need this tool right here to safely put them in. You cannot damage this knot with a pair of pliers. You're risking a misfire, meaning your bow won't go off. It's all right to take old Java pliers and discard them, okay? But to put the new ones in or to rotate these, you need this tool right here. I highly recommend it. I'm sure there's people out there using pliers on a piece of leather or rag or trying to twist these things. I don't recommend it. I hope you enjoyed the video.